Right now, somewhere in the world, a dog is walking past a perfectly good dog bed, ignoring the couch, skipping the warm spot by the window, and climbing directly onto their owner. And the owner moves over every single night. Most people laugh it off. He's just clingy. She loves warmth. He thinks he's a human. But what if I told you that what your dog is doing every night is one of the most scientifically complex behaviors ever documented between two different species on this planet? And what if the real reason, the one backed by neuroscience, genetics, and archaeology, is something most dog owners will never hear? Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you will never look at your dog the same way again. Part 1: The Warmth Myth. Let's get the obvious out of the way first. Warmth. That's what most people say. My dog is just cold. Here's the problem with that. Your dog has access to a heated home, sunny patches on the floor, your laundry pile in the corner, probably 3 different soft surfaces. And they still choose you. If warmth was the only reason, they have options. So when your dog walks past all of those options and comes specifically to you, that's not about temperature. That's about something much deeper. Something that took 15,000 years to build. Part 2: 15,000 years of sleeping together. Here's a fact that most people don't know. Dogs are the only animal on Earth domesticated before agriculture, before farming, before writing, before cities. Roughly 15,000 years ago, wolves began approaching human camps. Drawn by fire, by food scraps, by safety. The friendliest ones survived. They passed on their traits. Generation by generation, they stopped being wolves. And in Germany, archaeologists found something extraordinary. A burial site, 14,000 years old. 2 humans, buried together, and 2 dogs beside them. But here's the detail that changes everything. One of those dogs had survived canine distemper, a disease that kills within weeks without intensive care. Someone had nursed that dog back to health 14,000 years ago. These weren't tools. They weren't guards. They were family. And geneticists have since discovered that domestic dogs carry unique genetic insertions. On chromosome 6, a region directly linked to human-directed bonding and contact-seeking. Wolves don't have these insertions. Dogs were literally shaped at a genetic level to want to be near you, to sleep near you, to bond with you. So when your dog climbs into bed tonight, they're not being disobedient. They're doing something selected for across 150 centuries. Part 3: The Attachment Bond. Now let's talk about what's happening inside your dog's mind. Researchers at Eötvös Loránd University in Budapest took the same psychological test used to study bonding in human infants, Ainsworth's strange situation procedure, and applied it to dogs and their owners. The results were remarkable. Dogs form attachment bonds with their owners that are functionally identical to the bond a baby forms with its mother. The same proximity seeking, the same distress when separated, the same visible relief when reunited. And 61% of dogs tested were classified as securely attached. Almost exactly the same proportion found in human toddlers. Think about what that means. When your dog chooses to sleep beside you, at the moment they are most vulnerable. When every survival instinct tells them to find somewhere hidden and safe, they choose you instead. That's not habit. That's not warmth. That is the most fundamental act of trust in attachment psychology. They're not being clingy. They're telling you, you are the safest thing in their entire world. Part 4: The Chemistry. But here's where it gets even more extraordinary. Because this isn't just psychology. It's chemistry. In 2015, researchers at Budapest University in Japan published a landmark study in the journal Science. They measured oxytocin levels. That's the neurochemical your brain releases when you feel bonded to someone, the same molecule that floods a mother's brain when she holds her newborn for the first time. They measured it in 30 dog owner pairs during interaction. And what they found was unlike anything seen before. When a dog gazes at their owner and the owner gazes back, both of them experience a surge in oxytocin simultaneously across species. The dog's oxytocin rises. The owner's oxytocin rises, which makes the dog want to gaze more, which releases more oxytocin in the owner, which makes them gaze back. It's a loop, a self-reinforcing neurochemical loop that no other animal on Earth shares with humans. They tested the exact same interaction with wolves raised by humans. The loop didn't activate at all. This co-evolved specifically between dogs and humans, across thousands of years of living side by side. And physical contact amplifies it. Just 10 minutes of petting your dog produces measurable drops in cortisol, your stress hormone, in both of you. Now imagine 8 hours, pressed together, breathing in sync, every night. Part 5. What happens to your body? Now here's a study that almost nobody talks about, because the finding seems impossible at first. Researchers at the Mayo Clinic tracked the sleep quality of 40 adults and their dogs over 7 nights, using clinical-grade sleep trackers on both. The result? Dogs objectively disrupted human sleep. Movement. Repositioning. The 3 a.m. stretch that takes out your ankle. And yet, almost every single participant reported feeling more comfortable, more secure, and more rested when their dog was in the room. How's that possible? A researcher at Canisius College surveyed nearly 1,000 women and found that dogs were rated as less disruptive than human partners, more comforting, more consistent. Her follow-up research found that owners were waking briefly every time the dog moved, but almost never remembered it in the morning. The physical interruptions were real, but the felt experience of safety was stronger, because it turns out the psychological benefit of sleeping beside a trusted companion, a warm, breathing presence your nervous system recognizes as safe, may be more important to restorative sleep than uninterrupted darkness and silence. We spent most of human history sleeping in groups. The isolated, silent bedroom is the exception, not the rule. Maybe your dog isn't ruining your sleep. Maybe they're restoring something more ancient than any sleep hygiene routine ever could. Part 6. Your nervous system's sync. In 2024, researchers at the University of Jyväskylä in Finland monitored the heart rate variability of 30 dog owner pairs across 6 different conditions. Heart rate variability, HRV, is one of the most sensitive measures of how your autonomic nervous system is functioning. High HRV means you're calm and regulated. Low HRV means stress is activated. What they found was extraordinary. In every single condition measured, dogs and their owners showed correlated HRV patterns. Their nervous systems were in sync. When the owner was calm, the dog was calm. When the owner was stressed, the dog's body responded. And the synchronization was strongest during rest. They tested the same conditions with dogs and unfamiliar humans. No synchronization. None at all. This only happens within bonded pairs. What this means is that sleeping beside your dog isn't just a psychological comfort. It is a neurological event. 2 separate nervous systems from 2 completely different species, co-regulating each other through the night. Part 7. When it stops. There's one last thing I need to tell you, and it might be the most important part of this video. If your dog has been sleeping beside you for months or years, and one day they stop, don't brush it off. Dogs are creatures of deep habit. When a behavior this established disappears overnight, there is always a reason. Sometimes it's environmental. A new pet, a new person, a shift in your schedule. Dogs are exquisitely sensitive to changes in their world. Something that feels minor to you can feel seismic to them. But sometimes it's physical. Veterinary researchers have documented that changes in sleep location are among the earliest behavioral signs of pain, appearing before any limping, stiffness, or obvious physical symptom. A dog who stops jumping onto the bed might not have decided they prefer the floor. They might be hurting. And in older dogs, disrupted sleep patterns are the hallmark symptom of canine cognitive dysfunction, the dog equivalent of Alzheimer's. It affects an estimated 35% of dogs over the age of 8. Your dog doesn't have language. Behavior is the only way they can tell you something is wrong. So pay attention. So the next time you wake up at 3 a.m. with 6 inches of mattress left and 80 pounds of dog pressed against your legs, remember what's actually happening. Your dog walked past the couch, past the warm corner, past their perfectly good bed, and chose you. Because 15,000 years of coevolution, a neurochemical loop no other species on Earth shares with us, and an attachment system that mirrors the bond between a parent and child, all pointed to one place, beside you. And the science is clear. It might be doing something for you too. If this changed how you see your dog, subscribe and drop a comment below. I want to know, where does your dog sleep tonight? And if you want to understand why your dog stares at you with those eyes, that's the next video. And the science behind it is even stranger than you'd expect.